the money.
That's what I always say. You always follow the money.
Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Pauly Howard on VSiN.
Welcome in. We are live in downtown Las Vegas from the Circa Resort and Casino. Busy hour coming up, 15 minutes from right now into February here, getting a better idea of who some of these teams are in college basketball, teams that qualify right now historically to win the national title, teams that are close but don't qualify. Jonathan Von Tobel from New Orleans coming up in 30 minutes. And here, beginning the hour, talking about the massive and shocking trade in the NBA over the weekend. You can always get in touch with the show. The email is ftm@vsin.com. On X as well, at VSiN Live, at Mitch Moss Radio, at Pauly Howard. And a lot so far on the trade today. This is from Mark, who said, please stop with Luka being the second best player. If you had a draft right now of all the players in the league, he wouldn't go top 5.
You have no idea what you're talking about.
No, you're out of your mind, Mark. You have no clue.
Yeah. Stay in your lane, which is not NBA.
Yeah.
He's the second or third best player in the league. He's 25 years old. He was the favorite to win the MVP going into the season. They just went to the finals, and it wasn't a good roster.
Sure. He's going top 5 every single time.
Come on. Don't embarrass yourself.
Yeah, that's
think before you send the tweet.
And this is from Sean on X.
This guy's a dope, too.
Follow the money. Totally overreacting to the trade. Okay. Well, then, Sean, let me give you this. This is from Harlabob Vulgaris, who is the best NBA bettor ever, right? Here's what he said about the tweet, about the trade. You tell me then if we're overreacting. This will go down as one of probably the worst trades in the history of sports. You just traded away a top 3 player in the prime of his career, and your return was a single first and soon-to-be 32-year-old Anthony Davis. The fact that you threw in a second for good measure is just, quote, chef's kiss. The Nets got 4 unprotected firsts and a pick swap, plus Johnson and Bridges, who they later traded for 5 firsts and a pick swap for KD, who was 34 at the time of the trade. The Mavs had a top 3 defense last season after the deadline trades and then lost in the finals to one of, if not the greatest offensive teams in NBA history in the Celtics. If you think defense wins championships and you want to be 3 centers deep on your roster and play 80 at the 4, forcing PJ to guard 3s, Clay to guard 2s, and Kyrie to guard 1s, good luck with that. But you're right. We're overreacting to the trade. That's coming from the best NBA bettor to ever do it. Sure thing. I'll take your word for it over Harlabob.
Yeah, that's not an opinion either. This is the most shocking trade in NBA history.
No,
that's not an opinion. And every single person who's in that space, covers the league, podcast, whatever, did an emergency article /podcast. Because it's an incredible story.
Mark,
that it just pushed the Super Bowl to the side.
Mark responded, he's taking Joker, SGA, Giannis, Wemby, and Tatum over Luka.
Okay.
Again, it's time to stop drinking today, Mark. You're under no scenario is anybody taking Jason Tatum over Luka Doncic, and you're not taking Giannis either. I love Giannis. You're not taking him. Luka's 25 years old. So not happening. Wemby, yes. I don't even know if I can get there with SGA. Maybe. I love SGA. But stop, please.
Every single team makes that trade. OKC maybe says no, I doubt it. But
right.
How bad was that team a couple of years ago that he took to the conference finals? I mean, he didn't have much to work with.
Oh, Luka's team, yeah, he was like 21 years old, whatever.
Yeah, went to Phoenix and we're up 30 on him in Game 7.
Yeah. Again, the most egregious part of the deal was the fact that Nico Harrison, the GM of the Mavericks, never bothered even kicking it around with another team.
Yeah, Vulgaris also added in the other tweet about, hey, keep it a secret, Pelinka. Don't tell anyone. As if he's just going to, blow up the deal then. Because then obviously word gets out that, they're shopping Luka?
Of course.
Then it's like, here come. That's why the conspiracy stuff is good. It just doesn't make any sense. If you have a top 3 player in the league, it's like what you just talked about. Look what Bridges went for. Look what Gobert. You're at least going to get a chest full of picks, swaps, whatever, on top of the players. And none of it. None of it.
Teams would have been pushing other executives out of the way to make an offer for Luka. It would have been Herschel Walker all over again.
Yeah.
The exact opposite, though, because it went their way that time. But so, I don't know, man. They completely botched this thing. And again, Brian Mahoney was on 30 minutes ago. He's covered the NBA for a long time. He knows several other media people. Not one person can make any sense of it. Again, the litigator in Texas, who is a lifelong Mavericks fan, I tweeted this out a little earlier as well.
Yeah, it's interesting.
He had some great premises that he pointed out. Adelson's are the new owners, obviously, of the team. They've been pushing and spending a lot of money to get gambling approved in Texas, and the pushback has been so, in their faces that they can't get it passed, and it's frustrating to them. So they want to build like a brand new arena / destination casino, call it, Venetian, Dallas, whatever. And that's not happening as of right now. And it keeps getting shut down. And the next time I think it can get passes in a couple of years. And so this is their way of basically saying, okay, if we're gonna get really bad then very soon. In fact, probably in a couple of years. We don't want extra picks, by the way, to help out.
Yeah.
Part of the angle there as well. And then you know what we're going to do? Because we can't get gambling passed in Dallas or in the state of Texas? Fine. We're gonna take the team and move it over to Las Vegas. How do you like us now? And I'm here for it. I think it's interesting, Paul.
Mm-hmm.
You bet, on top of this, you bet the Mavericks at 40-1 to win the title.
I thought that was crazy. Now, the craziest thing is several sports books have the Lakers right now 10-1.
Yeah.
Which, come on. They were 22nd in defense, and they just traded Christie and Davis now.
Don't touch 10-1. That's my best advice.
So you're going to say, well, I'm going to get out on top and get out in front of it because another big trade's coming? Well, certainly what you should have included in the trade was Reeves and another pick. But now Reeves and the other first-round pick in 2031 can become a good player and a rim protector. But still, but I just think the Mavs still have a good team, and they can also make a move here. And I thought 40-1 is outrageous. Too much of a drop here with the Mavs, which you're betting on Kyrie Irving, which it could be risky business. But,
for sure.
But the 10-1 on the Lakers is nuts. So the other thing is some good stuff up at DraftKings, too, with what they've done. Adjusted wins. Sack, 42.5. They get Levine. Fox goes to the Spurs. Spurs, 40.5. Dallas, 44.5. LA, 47.5. Head-to-head, who will have more wins? Spurs against the... what did I write down?
Kings?
Kings against the Spurs, thank you, minus 270. Lakers minus 320 against Dallas. Lakers now plus 135 to win the division. Second choice. Yes, no playoffs. Spurs 4-1. Sack 2-1. Dallas minus 120. Suns plus 105. Lakers minus $4. A lot of good stuff they added in light of the big trades and your big boy on Saturday night.
Well, what's crazy is that LeBron's still playing at this level.
I
know we've been saying that for a long time. But
how about the one-legged three in front of Spike Lee?
How about the team going there?
Sorry, where'd the dunks come from? Just ferocious. Throw it down.
He still got that in him for sure.
Those were strong.
But here's the thing. The Knicks were 11.5-point favorites in that game.
Oh, yeah, I know. Well
they got
aware.
blown out.
Well aware. Well, we just watched what happened Tuesday once Davis got hurt. I mean, whatever the Sixers won.
I know.
And then it's the Knicks so good offensively.
How did the Knicks, by the way, I know you had over, I bet it as well, the team total over 118.5, and they got out to a scorching hot start, 112 against that team defensively?
Mm-hmm.
Come on.
Yeah. Good card tonight, though. Deep card. And you got your big one tomorrow, Lakers and Clippers on national TV. But I'm going to go with the Warriors tonight at home, which they thought they had Jimmy Butler. That was done yesterday. But they wouldn't give him an extension. So he said no. But it's more anti-Orlando, they've lost 8 of 9. Mm-hmm. What's going on with Orlando? I know they have injuries. Also, Atlanta. Atlanta's lost, 8 in a row?
Oh, they are struggling big time, yeah.
But we'll go lay the points at home tonight with Golden State against the Magic and the reeling Orlando Magic right now. Best Bets brought to you by G-Bank, official bank of VSiN. If you're serious about sports betting, you need the G-Bank Visa Signature Card. Most credit card street sports books and gaming transactions are cash advances, even when you're putting your own money on the card. G-Bank treats gaming transactions as purchases, so you're typically saving up to 3 to 5% on cash advance fees right there. And for a limited time, get a $250 bonus after you spend $1,000 in the first 90 days. Apply now. VSiN.com/GBank. VSiN.com/GBank.
So I also bet a little OKC in the first half tonight. They're getting the Bucks on a back-to-back, and the Bucks are without a lot of players in this game. There's no Giannis. There's no Middleton. And earlier today, we'll find out probably around game time. I'm looking for the latest updates right now. Damian Lillard, questionable. And no, he's been ruled out. So I just think that this could be, and they played in the Cup final as well. I think I laid 8.5 or 9 with OKC in the first half. Like I think this is gonna be like the Lakers Wizards game. I hope the other night, 30-point game at halftime.
Could be. Mm-hmm. Well, you said something interesting too about Suns Blazers now. Because now I think
coming back a couple nights later.
What I said about Golden State, I think they get a little boost here this week. Hey, we're trying. We're going to add pieces. We're going to get somebody. Phoenix, I don't think Durant's going anywhere. But with Beal saying he's staying put and maybe they could get Butler, I don't know. But Phoenix, maybe this could work against them. Like the woe is me. We're not making a trade. We're not going to improve. And they just got housed in Portland. And Portland is hot.
I know.
They're playing good ball.
They're playing really good ball.
And all these wins, correct me if I'm wrong, Luke, all these wins, they've been underdogs.
Yeah, no, they have been.
It's a great job by Portland.
So the only thing is, right, when these teams play like a back-to-back, same two teams, like only like the next night or one night separated in between the previous game, the loser of the first game typically does pretty well. So for a Phoenix bounce-back spot tonight would not stun me. Otherwise, it's like, I could only look at the Blazers here. Look at their roster, by the way. They have a lot of young talent on that team. I don't know what's going to turn out, what it's going to turn into in the Western Conference in the next couple of years, but a lot of those kids can play.
The wild weekend. Be careful, though. I mean, you saw how many dogs won outright the last 2 days, especially Saturday.
We're getting a better idea of some of these college basketball teams now in February. Some really good teams do not qualify under the Ken Pom historical criteria to win the national title. We'll give you the list next.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
We're kicking around the Blazers and the Suns game tonight, and Portland just beat them 2 nights ago, pretty handily, by the way. And you were asking like how many times in a row they've been a dog. Well, they've covered 8 games in a row, and they were only a favorite in one of those games. They were laying 1. But every other time that they've covered, they've been a dog, sometimes a really, really big dog, and winning outright in a lot of these games as well as a dog. So, good call, by the way, on Friday's show. You were all over Arkansas against Kentucky. Calipari going back to Rupp Arena after 15 years as the head coach there. And that number got ballooned up, I think, to 11.5 as well before tip time.
Number one, I hated the spot because you're off a win on the road as a double-digit dog. Then you come home and it figures to be a letdown. You disrespect your opponent, maybe take them lightly. And it was all about, let's win one for Cal here as well. And they were fired up. And that one, money line, no problem. And then I know you got involved in play and said, it's going to be one of these kind of games.
Well, that's the thing. I never bet it before the game tipped off. I wanted to see what Arkansas was going to look like. And I think it was the first media timeout. They could not miss. And they looked awesome. And they were just, everything that you said was spot on. Like they really showed up for Cal that night. So I grabbed 8.5. with them, and I grabbed some money line as well. And then they in the second half, they just coasted. They put it on them. And that Arkansas team could do damage if they would ever make the tournament. But again, my thing with Arkansas is, in Calipari here, how many times do you see that version of Arkansas? It's not every game. It's far from it. And that's like their number got to a crazy high triple-digit number to win the tournament, but that's because it looked like they were going to miss. And then Saturday's win. Now they're on next 4 out, I think, according to Lenardi. Right now, Lenardi has 3 teams as a 1 seed from the SEC.
No, I believe it.
Yeah.
No doubt. And 13 getting in. Do you think there's a big drop-off between Auburn, Duke, and everyone else? I was in love with Houston, and then that was just, what was that on Saturday? But it's Iowa State. Oh, what happened? That's now 2 games in a row.
Yeah, I also have my doubts about Houston just because it's like, I know offensively this year they're better than ever, but I can't get there because I've seen it happen too many times with them. Also, Matt Humans with a good point. Lack of a big guy down low might come back to haunt him.
All right.
I think Bama's pretty close.
Okay.
That would be the one team.
Well, here's the tough thing about Duke. And I know, what was it, 2 weeks ago, I think Lenardi said they're going to get the number 1 overall seed. The ACC's atrocious.
Terrible.
And plus the schedule, if they win at Clemson, are they going to lose another game going into the tournament or ACC tournament? Maybe Illinois. But the other thing is, like Lenardi said, they're going to be a double-digit favorite in most of these games, too.
Sure.
That's another one.
Oh,
so
yeah.
they're just going to pile up the wins, and they're going to have a ridiculous record. While Auburn, Auburn, Alabama, you got that grind coming up.
Right.
This is the month where it's, oh, my God, ranked opponent, non-stop.
Well, what if the Tigers only lose like 2 more games from here on out in the regular season and SEC title game?
I'd still give it to them.
They have to be the number 1 overall seed.
Yeah, you can't.
Have to be.
You're talking about, what's he got, 4 in? 4 in from the ACC, something like that?
Yeah.
Compared to the SEC juggernaut?
No,
they're going to get 13 bids?
It's maybe the worst ACC of our lifetime, and it's the best SEC in the history of the conference. So that has to go for something, I would think. By the way, those 2 teams that you brought up, they do qualify under the Ken Pom criteria, going all the way back. Like, teams typically have to be top 20 in offense and defense to eventually win the national title. We've had an outlier or 2, but that's pretty much it. So Houston also, they are second on defense, 8th overall on offense. They qualify. Florida, although they got buried against Tennessee, missed a bunch of shots. They're top 10, both sides of the court. Iowa State, 6th on defense, 17th overall on offense. I don't want to overreact to that game against Kansas State, but I think what I said about Houston kind of qualifies for Iowa State as well. Can they win the whole thing? I think deep run, yes. Elite 8, Final 4 maybe. National title? I don't think so.
Okay.
Other teams who are close but don't currently qualify. Stanford Steve brought this team up last week. Maryland, 21st on offense, 23rd on defense. Tennessee doesn't qualify. They're the number 1 team in the country on defense, but 37th overall on offense. Bama, 2nd on offense, but 41st on defense. Arizona's close. They're 14th overall on offense, 24th on defense. I just can't get there because of that head coach either.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Aren't we complaining about him like every single March?
Yeah. Well, he did a good job last year. Lead 8, and then they lose to Edie. But, yeah, I understand.
Illinois, 11th on defense, 22nd on offense. They're close. Marquette, 16th defense, 28th on offense. Michigan's top 25 in both. UConn is interesting. They've won it 2 in a row, obviously.
Were you asking me about Arizona or Tennessee?
I said Arizona.
Oh, it was Arizona?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, Tennessee got beat by.
Okay.
Yeah, that's who you're talking about. Yeah.
I thought you were asking about Tennessee. No, you're right about Arizona, too. That's also the same thing.
Yeah.
They lost. They were a 2 seed, got beat by Princeton. Come on.
Right. And so UConn's 11th overall in offense, but 115th on defense. That's a crazy number. Can they correct it enough? Can they improve the defense enough to get close to top 20 before like the Big East tournament? Probably not enough runway there for that.
There could be surprises, too, and a lot of it's luck in the draw. Like, would you want to see St. John's keeps winning games?
Right.
They get a 3 seed or a 4 seed. There's an upset. Bracket opens up. You never know.
Sure.
But it's going to be wide open, and it's going to be fantastic come March. Not to mention, I know they lost Saturday. I was a little bit surprised. If you look at how the brackets and the mocks right now, you could be a 1 seed and face Gonzaga in the second round.
That's right.
Which I haven't seen that in a while, but they had a tremendous A game early on to do what they do to blow out Baylor like that. Some other nice wins.
Let's see here. Also tonight you have, and Nick Bogdanovich brought this game up earlier in the show an hour ago. Longtime Vegas odds maker here at Circus Sports. Iowa State plays at Kansas tonight. He likes Kansas around 2 with that number. 2.5's out there as well if you like the other side. But this one is a little tricky here, right? Because think about what both teams are off of here. Iowa State, they're awesome at home. Mm-hmm. Right? How many times do we hear Hilton Magic over the years? Enough to make you want to vomit.
Yeah.
But they were blown out by Kansas State. What were they, 9-1 on the money line to win the game, and they killed them?
I know.
So they're coming off, and now they're pissed off, you would think. But what about Kansas now? Some really, inexcusable losses. How they blew the game against Houston, I can't get over. And then up again by 20 at halftime against Baylor, and you allowed 60 points in the second half? You would think that South is going to have that team, just completely pumped tonight to make it, a bet on Kansas, but I think they're kind of bad.
This used to be my favorite sport, and the sport has pissed me off the last 5 years for what they've done. We're playing 30 games just to seed. It doesn't make any sense. You do have to get excited and think about how insane championship week's going to be now. with conference realignment, right?
Oh, yeah.
Not to mention can you imagine just because of the talent and the teams like in the SEC? But when you have number one, how long is it going to take? How many games? If you got 16, 18 teams in a league, how long is your conference tournament? And imagine you get that team that gets hot and has to play 5 games in 5 or something nuts.
I'm sure that'll happen.
I mean, because I'm looking at this and looking at some of the brackets in the schedule. This is a championship week like we've never seen before.
Good point.
Because we have 18, whatever it is, 18 in the ACC, all these teams in the SEC and what that's going to look like.
How about the Big Ten now?
I mean, yeah, that's another one. Yeah,
with
right.
The former Pac-12 teams.
Uh-huh.
And I'll give you another one here. USC playing great basketball.
Yeah.
Musselman has that team really.
It was a good hire.
Yeah, no doubt. And so, Michigan State had not lost in forever. Went there on the road. 5.5 point favorites, I think. Lost outright to USC. Trojans playing good. A team like that, right? Are you going to be stunned if they would win like 4 games overall and make the Big Ten title game? Not me.
Big Ten, Big 12, SEC. It's going to be silly how great these conference tournaments.
Sure.
The fortunate part is what happens here. We lose the Pac-12 and everything, but we're still the Mecca. We have all these give you another one. How intriguing is the West Coast out here?
Yeah.
Gonzaga down. St. Mary's good. San Francisco good. Oregon State. Washington State.
Yeah,
that's intriguing.
Right.
That's always the Gonzaga Invitational.
Of course.
Maybe a good St. Mary's. But this thing's wide open. Gonzaga might be the 3 or the 4 seed. When's that happen? Dan Dickow? I mean, how long?
Could they actually be the 4?
Yeah, I think they're the 3 right now.
Wow.
They keep losing games, Mitch.
Yeah, no, I know.
They have 4 league losses? What was the guy's name? Richie Fromm and...
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to go back to those days.
Adam Morrison, that was probably a little bit before then, yeah.
If they're that bad. Get ready for a big game 59 with a big deal. This is your final week to save $59 on a VSiN Pro annual subscription. When you sign up with promo code FTM, sit back, here comes the news. Just $181. You get a full year VSiN Pro, every best bet, every host, every guest. The betting splits from DraftKings and Circa, 24/7 video access, and the betting guides. This goes away after the big game. VSiN.com/subscribe, code FTM to lock in your savings. VSiN.com/subscribe. Go get it. What a deal. $181 for the year.
We're going to head to New Orleans up next. Jonathan Von Tobel is hosting his show from the site of the Super Bowl all week long. He'll set the scene from that great city, but also get his reaction to the big trade over the weekend and his biggest takeaways from a betting standpoint. That's next here on VSiN.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Welcome back. It is Follow the Money here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. We're live in downtown Las Vegas from the Circa Resort and Casino. We'll head across the country here to the site of this year's Super Bowl, to the great city of New Orleans, where Jonathan Von Tobel is broadcasting his show, VSiN Primetime, from the entire week. He's on the Progressive Guest Line. What's up, JVT?
Nothing much, guys. Just chilling. It's been a lot of fun out here. I've never been out here before, so my head's spinning, not because of all the sports news, but also because of the hurricanes, the hand grenades, and everything in between that I've experienced in the last 12
Okay, I was going to
hours.
say, because you got there yesterday, so that means that you have, one night of Bourbon Street probably under your belt already. Please tell me, some of your clothes that you have in the hotel room still have, that Bourbon Street stank on it from last night.
Yes, they do. I'm actually staring at a pile of them right now. And the night turned into the morning, we'll say. It was a very late night yesterday, so it was cool, man. I just like the vibe. The buildings are cool. The old stuff. Obviously, everybody's out here for a good time. You see Super Bowl fans coming in here. I really liked it, and the food was great. I was just talking to Paul about that too. The food has been absolutely fantastic. So yes, it has been quite the experience for having been here for just 12 hours in my life so far. And I absolutely love it.
Yeah, you have to, when you go to the local place, you have to try the local food. You're right. How was the alligator sausage?
Fantastic. That was actually one of the better things I honestly say we'll ever have. I'll rank it. I don't know if it's top 10, whatever, but that was genuinely fantastic. That, and I had some blackened catfish. That was awesome. Yes. It was absolutely tremendous. And look at me. I'm not scared of food, right? I always want to try everything. So I was down and I got I think it was like a Cajun combo. So it was like red beans and rice, shrimp Creole, jambalaya, the blackened catfish, alligator sausage. Yeah, tried everything. It was great. And I'm going to continue to do it and go around town because I haven't tried gumbo yet. That's on my list as well. But it was so cool, guys. I love it out here. It's been so cool.
Oh, it sounds so good. I love that food so much. You're right. You got to do the gumbo, the jambalaya. People love po' boys. You have to try at least 1 or 2 po' boys. I'm not the biggest fan, so maybe I'm missing something there, but please put that on the list as well, okay?
Yes, it is on the list. I saw Adam Hill of the Las Vegas View-Journal down a po' boy last night. So, yes, it is on the list. It looked pretty good.
Okay. All right. Your biggest betting takeaway from this crazy trade from Saturday night would be what?
That I bet the Thunder to win the Western Conference. I was texting with Kelly about this when I did not believe it was happening. I thought Shams got hacked. I don't think anybody believed that it was real at all. But as the smoke settled and you kind of looked around at the Western Conference, look, the Mavericks were going to be the team, I thought, guys. I don't know what you thought. There was going to be the sneaky contender once they got fully healthy, right? I mean, with Luka coming back, the fact that they beat this Thunder team in the postseason last year, the fact that Lively had been banged up, like the reason they were sliding was due to absence of stars, not because of their level of play. And so you break that team up, and you still have a quality team there. But I think that version of the Mavericks was going to be able to push the Oklahoma City Thunder. And now that has dissipated and you have these two teams that I think are generally weaker and just kind of in the same area, that being the Lakers and the Mavericks. And then you look at the rest of the Western Conference, we're like, yeah, the Grizzlies are very good. And the Rockets, we'll see. I don't think they have enough on offense. The Denver Nuggets can't play a lick of defense all of a sudden. I think that this opens up for Oklahoma City. I thought at plus 115 or better, it was worth looking at the Thunder to win the Western Conference. That was the bet that I took actually coming out of everything.
I think I'm going to put them on some cross-sport parlays as well. I'm going to be looking to do that for sure. I like them even more now, like you said. My biggest takeaway was, sometimes the best bet is the one that you don't make. We've been urging people all day long. You cannot bet the Lakers at plus 950 or 10-1 to win the title. That's so outrageous to me.
Oh, so it got that high, huh? Wow. I mean, I would agree. Look, I think you can make the strong argument that Dallas is the better basketball team than the Los Angeles Lakers, right? I mean, when you look at the way that they are at least constructed, when you have a lead guard in Kyrie Irving, you have a good off-ball guard in Klay Thompson, you've got a good wing defender in PJ Washington, you have a power forward in Anthony Davis that can play with any of the centers that you have on the roster. In theory, that's a roster that really works. It's a lineup that really works and I think fits and gives them so many different options than what the Lakers have at this point right now. You have to find out who your perimeter defender is going to be. You have to find out who your center is going to be. You, on paper, lack for defense. If Dorian Finney-Smith is going to be your primary perimeter defender, he's a fine defender, but you're not really in a good spot. And Luka, LeBron, and Austin Reeves, I think are going to be pretty poor in terms of what they've been able to do defensively when they're forced to guard on the perimeter. So I think when you look at it, I'm shocked. I get the liability. I get it's Luka. I get it's the Lakers logo, but I am shocked that we have gotten this far without any of the logic being, if you look at the Mavericks, they're actually kind of good, and I think that they might be better than the Lakers.
What's your favorite part of the story? Or what you consider to be the most insane? Like, hey, don't tell anybody, Harrison to Pelinka, or I only go to one team, or Shams, who breaks the story, as you said, has to tweet above it, I've not been hacked. Take it away.
Yeah, I think you hit on all of it. I would say I don't know if it's my favorite, but it's the thing that I keep going back to, which is this team trying to tell us, the Mavericks, that, it's because of the conditioning, or it's because of it's because he might not have signed the extension. I think I was listening to you guys earlier. He would have put pen to paper on the extension. Yes. He's not going to get that money anywhere else.
Yes.
That is a ridiculous thing to say. And that lack of conditioning, which, by the way, you as a franchise have enabled in your time with Luka Doncic. You've never really put your foot down when it comes to that. That lack of conditioning got you to the NBA Finals last year. It got you to the Western Conference Finals about 4 years ago. Yeah. So now all of a sudden it's a problem. Now all of a sudden we're like, you know what? Nope, we got to do this. We've got to move. And during a time in which he's been out since Christmas, you haven't even seen him. So it doesn't make any sense at all. And to me, that's the part of the story I keep going back to, Paul. None of this makes sense outside of new ownership coming in and saying, we don't want to pay that guy. Let's go ahead and move off of him. Which, again, why buy the team? Why run the team? Why are you doing what you're doing if you're not going to pay for a superstar of that caliber? I think that's what I keep coming back to, just the reason that they traded him and the fact that they refused to say why.
The biggest mistake, in my opinion, JBT, is the fact that Nico Harrison never bothered to talk to another team. I'm blown. I will never not be blown away by that part of the whole deal.
Well, I completely agree, because here's the thing. Even if you want Anthony Davis, like if that's your end goal, at the very least, you still call other teams and then tell the Lakers, hey, I've got this package. Can you sweeten that deal around Anthony Davis? Right? Hey, I've got it's basic bargaining. So I don't know why you put yourself in the corner and call the team with the asset that you want, tell them that's the asset you want, and then that's it. Like, you screw yourself over. So even if you were going to make this trade, it's such bad business to go and do what you did. And let's zoom out, because I mentioned this when I was texting with Kelly and the guys in the group chat, which is, guys, 4 years ago, this team was in the Western Conference Finals with Luka Doncic and Jalen Brunson on the roster. And now both of those guys are gone, and you have Anthony Davis, and I think is it a 2029 Lakers first-round pick, which, by the way, the Lakers are going to have Luka in 2029, so it's not even a good first-round pick because it's probably going to be late. So I don't understand what the business of this was at all.
That's another angle. Get the 2031 pick. Yeah. You should add both picks. Would you take the Spurs 4-1 to make the playoffs, or no?
I mean, I would think about it. I think when you look at it, everything overall, you always have to ask, right? Hey, who's going to fall out? And I think there's a chance that the Kings fall out. And can you leap the Warriors? I would say this, though, Paul. I think the one thing that works against you is the Warriors, by all accounts, are calling about every All-Star. I think there's a report, right? Yep. Like they are trying to go and get somebody. And I was listening to you guys earlier. I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility that you still call about LeBron, right? I mean, Windhorst had a report that this is Luka's team now moving forward, that every move is about what you're going to do with Luka Doncic. And what better way to start that era than to say, hey, Golden State, what do you want for LeBron? We need to add some pieces here, maybe young pieces around him, like a Jonathan Kuminga or something. Like, can we do something there? And so if the Warriors add a superstar or an all-star or anything like that, then that leap becomes a little bit harder. And while DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine aren't really great, they at least have a pretty solid floor that you know is going to be somewhat productive. Are you going to be able to leap those two teams, get into the play-in, and then, of course, make the playoffs out of the bottom seed? I find it somewhat hard to believe for San Antonio.
Yeah. If Sacramento gets in, by the way, how dangerous do you think they would be?
I don't know, man. Like, we saw this in Chicago. You know what I mean? Like, we know what this is. I think they'd probably be a pain in the butt for any team in any one series or maybe any one given night. We know how skilled those offensive players are, but at the end of the day, I just don't know what this team is doing other than spinning its wheels at this point right now. I mean, realistically, if you get in, again, we're talking about them being the 9 or the 10 seed. Do you really want to bet again? Do you want to bet on them in a series against Memphis? Do you want to bet on them in a series against Oklahoma City? Do you want to bet on them even in a series against Houston? Should Houston get past Memphis? And I just don't see that being somewhat plausible. So I guess maybe they could pull an upset off in like a 1 or 2 game setting, but I don't know if I would really trust that they're going to be able to get out of a first round series if they even make it that far, you know?
Yeah. We asked Jeff Sherman 2 hours ago if there's a number out there right now on any team in the Western Conference. He brought up Memphis, double-digit odds. He likes them.
No, I would agree with that. Like, they've been so impressive. Jenkins is awesome. 2 years ago, like that fan base wanted him fired, and I have no idea what was going on there. They had so many injuries. He's one of the best coaches in the NBA. They're awesome on defense every single year. They have good guard play, and they're a team that could potentially land Jimmy Butler. We had Sam Quinn on from CBS last week on primetime, and he said his sneaky team to watch out was Memphis, despite the fact that there is some things out there that maybe he's not going to resign with Memphis, doesn't want to play there, whatever it is, that Memphis would still maybe go put everything in the table, kind of like with Kawhi Leonard, right? Raptors kind of knew, Kawhi might not resign, but let's go trade him. And they won an NBA Finals. It might be worth it to go try it with Jimmy Butler.
Yeah. Here's the bad news. You're on the air until 10 o'clock Central Time in New Orleans. Yep. The good news, much like the city of Las Vegas, this night has not even started at 10 o'clock. So you have plenty of time to go out and fill yourself with a ton of debauchery again tonight and this entire week.
I was definitely hanging on a balcony last night and whatnot, so I'll probably try to do that again tonight.
Good for you. I like it. Good for you. There you go. All right, JVT. Thank you. Enjoy it.
Good to talk to you guys. Thanks.
He was on the Progressive Guest Line. In Pocket Plays coming up next. Our best bets for tonight on Follow the Money. It's VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
To determine the winner of any given college basketball game.
Someone gives you 10,000 to 1 on anything. You take it. Take it. Take it.
I'll bet you $20 I can get you gambling before the end of the day. No way. I'll give you 3 to 1 odds. Nope. 5 to 1. Nope. 10 to 1. You're out.
Incredible game Saturday night. Big dogs. Lakers win outright. LeBron gets a triple-double. And, condolences. Lost on this one. Knicks team total over 118.5. As you're right. You said earlier got off to a hot start, but finished with 112. And Hart was great, too, with a triple-double, and he kissed it in at the end of the third quarter. Looked like they're going to win the game.
I know.
That was vintage LeBron, though. And some ferocious dunks, the one-legged three, and the Lakers get one on the road, and then all hell breaks loose after the game. So that's the graded, the pending. Warriors laying 2, 3, depends where you shop, against the reeling Magic, who have lost 8 of 9, and the Mavs to win the title at 40-1. I think that's too high. And I think there'll be another trade with Dallas. So matchup issues, maybe inside the heads of OKC. And some have argued still the second or third best team in the West. Do with that what you will. But 40-1's too high, I believe.
I got another trade idea I'm going to kick by you here coming up in a few minutes. Okay, so the bets that we have on the board for today, there's one. I mentioned this. Now, I hate doing this because the number has gotten a little out of control, but I mentioned this on the air earlier when it was still 9. I played the Thunder first half in the -9 against the Bucks tonight. Bucks are without pretty much everybody. There's no Giannis. There is no Middleton. There's no Damian Lillard. That number is now, for the game, they're 17. For the first half, they're like 11 or 11.5, but I have them -9 in this spot tonight. Also looking to maybe add a couple of player props yet. If I do, I'll put them on the picks page at vsin.com. But I also want to be a little hesitant because I've been playing Malik Monk assists over, and now with no De'Aaron Fox, right? It's still about 6.5 in the game tonight, -130-ish. But they're playing a Minnesota team that getting guys back tonight.
Oh, yeah, it's a tricky week now.
You know, I don't know.
When are these guys coming in? Look what happened to Dallas Saturday. Yesterday.
Right.
Cleveland had 91 at halftime.
That's right. So as of right now, that's the only bet that I have.
All right, good. Big news here. Big news. New sponsor, game changer. Incredible. Edge Boost. And I know our buddy Evan's got to be listening to this, number one. Number two, it's for the whole audience and the betting community as well. And, you know, the horror stories. I hit my ATM limit. I want to do something in play. I want to go to the tables. I hit my, oh my God, the outrageous
It recently cost me, I think, $57 I had to go to the cashier cage at a casino.
Sure.
To take some money out because my ATM card wouldn't work for some reason.
That's another one. And you weren't even taking out a lot of money.
That's right.
The fees are outrageous. How about the horror story? May rest in peace, Norm Macdonald. He was, he went all in the blackjack table and got dealt aces. And then they wouldn't give him a marker, and he couldn't split them. Yeah. So it's like, this is Edge Boost. Great to have you guys. If you ever had your deposit blocked by your bank right before a big bet, or needed cash at 2 a.m. for another shot at the tables, but hit your ATM limit, Edge Boost is the first ever bank account built for bettors. With Edge Boost, all your gambling-related transactions will always be approved. No more headaches. And for high rollers, you can move up to $250,000 a day on your Edge Boost Visa debit card with unlimited withdrawals, 24/7 instant deposits. Never wait for a wire to clear again. It gets better. Every time you deposit into a gambling account, you earn cashback rewards up to 0.5 percentage point, and this for no usage fees and no minimum balance. This is a bank account, not a credit card. There's no approval required or credit checks. And Edge Boost has a suite of responsible gaming tools to help you manage your bankroll and make informed decisions. Go to edgeboost.bet. Edgeboost.bet, code FTM. Start at Tier 2 for faster bank transfers and higher cashback rewards. Sign up for Edge Boost today. Edgeboost.bet, code FTM.
Great to have them on board.
It's incredible. I sat through the presentation for 5 minutes. My jaw was on the floor.
I met the gentleman in charge last Thursday as well. Phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
Guy was awesome. So really, really good to have them here at VSiN now. Here's the potential deal. I brought this up earlier. How about LeBron says, you know what? Nah, enough here of my time in Los Angeles. I want to go back and finish my career in Cleveland. This is from David, who is a massive Oklahoma City fan. Said, I have the wrong homecoming. KD back to the Thunder. That's the guy going back home and finishing what he started is what the league needs. I asked him if he wants to see it as an OKC fan. He said yes. He hates that he gets to hop on the train that he drove into the mountain, he said. But that would actually be a pretty cool story.
But they're still going for it though, and
you could just give up picks.
Yeah, well, they have plenty of them. Yeah,
sure, they don't have to part with any of their roster.
Yeah. I want some good players, but that's
yeah. I mean that to me, if we got that deal before the deadline, KD to Oklahoma City, I don't know, maybe a player or two, but a bunch of picks. I don't know. Presti's willing to do something like that and break up how much they have, but at some point he's going to have to because you can't pay 50 guys on an NBA roster, obviously. But that would be awesome to me. I'd love to see that one get home. Also, plenty of feedback. FTM at VSiN.com and on X at VSiN Live at Mitch Moss Radio at Pauly Howard. People calling the Edmonton Oilers trading of Wayne Gretzky the most shocking deal in the history of sports. Some people have also called it the worst trade.
Okay. Probably.
The worst trade to me
it was Canada too. That he went.
That's
you traded
exactly
the
right.
Canadian team traded him to Los Angeles. Yeah. This is certainly NBA. Yeah. Most shocking trade in NBA history.
Right.
All-time sports.
I called it one of the most shocking in sport. This is from Amy.
It's fun to rank. Yeah.
Amy says that a lot of Canadians still hate Edmonton owner for making that deal.
Yeah, Pocklington. Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
They never should have.
How would you ever get over that? And we're seeing that now with Dallas. It's a 25-year-old superstar, and in the prime of his career, nope, see you later, bye.
The league loved it, though. It changed hockey.
Oh, I know it did.
It allowed – then they became the hot ticket, and he took them to the Cup after he had the hat trick in Toronto. And then that allowed, okay, there's a team in Florida. There's a team in Tampa.
Sure.
There's a team, out here, please.
It could be warm weather, cities.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Yep. God, I can't believe it.
No, I just, it's...
Can't believe it. What are you doing? I don't want to be conspiracy guy, tinfoil hat, but those tweets you read earlier, that guy, it's like, it doesn't make any sense. You're trying to pull a major league here, a movie, where you want to be bad on purpose, piss off the fan base, and then just get out of it and say, okay, well, sorry.
Sure.
You don't do this. You don't do this ever.
People are going to, they're going to be so outraged in Dallas the way it appears. Now do they stop going to games? Do they stop watching them on TV? Do they kind of protest the deal that way? So there's no interest. It turns into apathy, and there's nothing worse than that in a sports city.
You trade a top 3 player in the league, fan favorite, just went to the NBA Finals, 25 years old. And you get a crap return.
He was the short shot to win the MVP.
Absolutely, going into the year.
Yeah, you didn't even bother talking to another team.
Got that? Yeah.
You got to be kidding me.
I can't imagine what Pelinka is thinking when Harrison invites him out for coffee and he brings that up. Dallas approached him.
Yeah.
Hey, I got an idea.
Oh,
the all-time kicker, and I believe it, is there someone who has a source in the Lakers organization that connect, and the other pick was in the deal, and Pelinka played hardball and actually said, that's too much. And it worked. Like, Harrison wouldn't freak out and say, you're pissing me off. Yeah. You're blowing the whole deal. And it actually worked then.
And Pelinka, by the way, did he tell anybody, like a single person in the world?
Oh, he's not supposed. He can't, because you can't risk it. Because if word leaks out, then it's like, what?
So
Luka's available. Here's you want to invite all the offers, not say, no, we're not open for business.
Put yourself in his shoes then for a month, because they talked about it more than a month ago. He's holding a pair of bullets, and he can't do anything about it. He just got to wait until they actually agree to it.
He needs to win Executive of the Year. I don't care if they don't even make losing the first round. And he's the Executive of the Year.
How does Harrison have a job?
Yeah.
Unless the Adelsons really said, this is what we want to do.
Well, if they don't, he will be out of a job in 18 months.
Yeah.
If they don't do anything in the playoffs. And now you're going to get a pissed off Luka. Whether you're a season bettor or just joining the action, Super Bowl success starts with VSiN's Super Bowl betting guide, packed with everything they need to make informed wagers. Game preview, top trends, Mackina's betting strategies, final score and MVP picks from every host. $9.99. Get your copy of the guide. $9.99. VSiN.com/subscribe. Get it now.
Could Pelinka even tell his wife?
No, can't risk it.
Because that's too dangerous then.
Absolutely.
So he's going to bed every single night with this. He's holding on to that. He can't utter one peep? No way you can tell her.
No.
Who knows what crowd she's hanging out with? Anything spills out after a couple glasses of wine. Oops, sorry, honey, I spilled the beans.
Yeah.
Stay tuned. Primetime next. Von Tobel live in New Orleans. Good luck tonight.